1 second. I think the recording has started. Perfect. Over to you, Pooja.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, to join us here today and then make it a even more salesy Saturday. That's what we do on Saturdays, and I keep my Saturdays especially for more sales talk. So quickly, a little bit about me. I lead Margin Sales, which is a B2B sales outreach firm. And we are helping companies and people drive more sales in terms of where they're not able to run in-house sales function. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis for my living and for my company's living. Apart from that, I have about 20 years of experience in sales and sales operations. I've worked with larger MNCs and have gathered my experience and have seen the gaps real time. And that's what we're trying to fill every day.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much, Pooja, for that. Hello, everybody. Good morning. This is Dhananjay. I mean, because I've been selling to US, it's more easier to call me DJ. So that's about me. A little about me, I think. I've been in sales for about 7-8 years right now. I've been building 0 to 1 startups, and I've seen firsthand how those happen. Right now, I'm working for an organization called Sales Table, which is ideally an AI sales manager. And soon I'm going to be starting out something called Rethink, which is ideally a voice AI app for the underprivileged. But it's going to start out with the curriculum and then, share as much as possible and build it to a voice AI model. Yeah, I think that's a little bit about me. Excited to be here. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining this. Looking forward for this session. Over to you, Arjun.
Hi, everyone. So I've been in the messaging space. So I spent 20 odd years working on brands like LG, Coke, Videocon. And working at those places, I discovered how do you crack the positioning that is going to connect with people. So yeah, so building brands, getting the messaging correct, the positioning correct. I enjoy it every day. And so whatever I will share with you is going to be from the perspectives I gathered over 20 years experience.
Perfect. Thank you so much to all the guests for the brief introduction, guys. Let's get started then. I'll give it back to you, Pooja. Over to you. You can share your screen and the next 30 minutes is yours.
Thank you. Let me just quickly share my screen. Let me know, guys, when you can see.
Yes, it's visible.
It's visible? Great. So we all know why we are here. I am going to talk about how LinkedIn outreach works, but mostly what doesn't work is also something that I wanted to start with. So the conversations that are meaningful, get the meaningful meetings, and of course the demo. But before we reach out to anyone on LinkedIn, my belief is that always look into your LinkedIn profile first. And when I say look into your LinkedIn profile, please make sure a lot of times, in fact, I receive messages wherein, someone has reached out to me, but there is not a face to look at. There's no picture. There's no about section. There's nothing that resonates why that person is reaching out to me or why I should be interested in replying to that person. So make sure that before you all reach out through LinkedIn, make a LinkedIn reach out plan, always ensure that you look deeper into your profile first. And what makes most of the difference is you having a profile picture. What does your headline say? And what does your about section say? So those are something, yeah, thank you. Those are few things to look at always. And once you have all of that in place, the next is, of course, who are you targeting? Right? So a lot of times I hear this, and I hear this from the early SDRs that, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to write. How do I reach out on LinkedIn? And the experienced ones, I get to hear a lot that, it's not working. I don't know. I send so many LinkedIn messages, but it doesn't work. My understanding is LinkedIn feels broken when you look at certain things and you realize from the prospect point of view, imagine when you are sending a LinkedIn DM, you are a prospect and you are receiving that DM. Does it look like adding more to the inbox noise? Because honestly, if you are the prospect, you're being pitched every single day. There are so many people out there selling and they are pitching to you, and your inbox just feels heavy with all those pitches that don't look relevant, do not resonate, and do not even talk about like what the problem is. What are you trying to solve? So everyone is pitching, and that makes the buyers defensive. It is like, you don't get a response, they are closed, they don't want to open up. So the problem is not LinkedIn, it is how we use it. And I understand that this might not sound very resonating to everyone because this is a mindset shift. We consider at times what we do is what we have sent in the email is what we copy and paste in the DMs, and we expect a response on that. So please understand that the DMs are not mini emails. It's not that you're sending 5 lines in the email and 2 lines in the DM and it will work same way. Also, it's not about the speed that you know that your audience is on LinkedIn. They're posting every day. So you expect a response from them, in DMs rather than getting a response in your emails. So it's not about speed. Those are not mini emails. It's about you write a DM that gets you your next reply is something that we should be focused on. And how do we write that particular DM? I don't know if a lot of people will agree with this. The way we open our calls, what we say in our pitch within the 30 seconds matters the most. So how do we open the calls is deciding whether the person is going to give you 2 to 5 minutes on that particular call or not. Same way, it is about the anatomy of a DM that you write, the message that you send. So what works majorly is a context. There has to be context rather than just the personalization. I receive DMs at times which are personalized, but it doesn't resonate with me. Why? Because someone just went on my profile, saw what did I do in my previous past, and when did I start working with margin sales, and then just they kind of just attach those 2 things and send me a personalized DM, and they think that they've done the right kind of personalization. But if I'm their buyer, like they're just trying to flatter, but not add any relevance to it. So what is my day-to-day pain point that message would bring to me and make me think? That is the context that I'm talking about. So focus on the context more rather than focusing on the personalization. At the same time, while you're focusing on the context, rather than creating a perfect copy of your DM, of your messages, it is very important that you also consider the timing. When are you sending that DM? Does it match with, does your solution match with the timing for an organization? So let's just say that, a lot of times we see all this funding news. At times we see companies expanding. Is that the time when you're reaching out to them? Or you're reaching out to them at a time where you were just busy creating a perfect copy, you created an average message, and you just reached out to them and said, hey, this is what we do. But if you don't add that relevance, why does it matter to them at that particular time? What are you solving for when the company, when that organization, when that team leader is in that critical stage? So my understanding is it can be the same message. At times, the timing matters a lot and it brings along a very different outcome. So focus on the timing, focus on the context, and last, be curious rather than just pitching. Be curious so that it initiates a conversation. Do not just try to put what you're solving without the context, without the timing, without diagnosing the problem. So when I say be curious, try to diagnose what are you trying to solve for. So a pitch would immediately trigger a defense, but if you add any curiosity to it, it will make it a conversation. It will initiate a dialogue. I will just take a pause and try to understand if all of this makes sense, and then probably we can go further.
Yes, it does.
Cool. This is what a high response DM looks to me. And how I create a high response DM is I add a trigger. I would like to add some relevance to it. I would like to add a question that is easy to reply, not a very complicated question. Anything that just brings along, like I said, sparks the curiosity, brings along the dialogue. So try to add that. I just tried to show you an example here on the slide. A lot of times, this happens maximum times, that the DM closes with, when is the good time I can show you a product demo? Can I show you a demo? But why are you showing me a demo? What are you going to solve for me? I have still not read that in the DM. It has still not sparked that curiosity. It has still not given me the relevance, triggering nothing, right? So how are you handling the pipeline today? Maybe it will just give me some thought that I want to talk about. And then the follow-up messages can continue that curiosity. So please start without sounding salesy. Ask the situation questions, stay neutral, and diagnose before you pitch. I have some examples that I would like to show, and I would also want to pause for you to take a look at that DM and see how it does it resonate with you if you were the prospect in that particular scenario. So asking questions, staying neutral wherein you're not sounding salesy. Your end goal is to get the next reply. It's not to sell or book a meeting in the first DM. So diagnose before you pitch, ask the relevant questions. Is this visible to everyone? Do I need to increase the size?
Yeah, if you can go in the slideshow mode, yeah.
Yeah. Does this help?
Yeah.
Cool. I would want everyone to please read the first message, which is on the left, and then the right message, and see if it is making sense. I'll quickly give you a little bit of background. This is about a marketing tool. And this is about reaching a CRO for a marketing tool. So this is also an example of multi-threading if you closely read the DM. All right, I'll quickly just break this down for easy understanding. So what happened here was, the background is, when the first line says I was speaking with one of your SDRs, the idea was to see how are the leads being qualified. What tools are they using to qualify the leads so that can add to their sales funnel? So a CRO made sense because ultimately it is about increasing the qualified leads in the funnel and hence the revenue. So we talk about, hi Kyle, I was speaking with one of your SDRs and we were discussing about the tools in use for sales research. Your team currently is using 3 to 4 tools. So one, when I mentioned multi-threading, I did some research. I reached out to someone in the team to understand before I pitch a product. And this is one of the projects that we were working on. Before I pitch a product, I want to know whether I'm pitching to the right team or not. What are they currently using? What can I use as an information when I reach out to a senior leader in the organization? Being mindful of their time, being mindful that I show that I have done my research before I'm reaching out to you. That's what the first 3 lines talk about. And then a little bit of nudge, why are we reaching out? Which will increase some curiosity, look into the tool. And if you read closely, nowhere it talks about, I'm ready to show you a product demo in a direct language, right? And it so happened that when we opened our inbox again, we realized, and this was one of the US large company enterprise, we realized that the CRO had already internally discussed pieces this message, because I think it just hit at the right time and it needed to see the tool, what it can do and how it can add to their sales funnel. And next I receive is this from their sales ops team that closely looks into the tools that they buy into the new vendors. And this is what I receive. So what is happening here is, in one of this message, it shows that it sparked some curiosity to look into how it can move the funnel. And it just it is asking for the time, right? Can you give 30 minutes anytime this week to chat? Which I think is the ideal way to reach out in DMs. And this was the in-mail that we reached out to. Here is another example. This is what gives the timing plus context. I'll pause again for a minute for you all to read. This is message 1. Here is the follow-up. Here is the final. I'll quickly break this down again. So we at Margin Sales, like I mentioned, we work with SaaS teams, we work with IT tech teams, and we help them book more qualified meetings. We basically work as an outsourced SDR function for them. That's what we do. And the previous one I showed you was for one of our clients. This one is something that we internally use. So my LinkedIn is being used here, and we say that 1 is the relevance and the timing. It says, saw your post about hiring BDMs for outbound. And then next it talks about what we do. And again, not directly, do not want to just pressurize it. A slight nudge about if you're open to a discussion about how we do it. So this particular part adds the curiosity, wherein a person who's thinking about whether in-house or outsource would want to think on those lines, how it can be done, right? Then, of course, there are times it is not magic always. We do not get the internal references. It doesn't click at the right time. The lead goes cold for a while. So again, here is the, this is the follow-up. So it says, thanks for reaching out. Can you please share? What can I read? There goes the flyer, the product details, whatever you guys share. Sorry. And then, again, a little bit in short about what we can do. How do we add value? Not very complicated, very simple language, just to add value. And next I hear is that, hi, thank you for following up. Can we get on a quick call? And previously when I mentioned that, your DM's job is to get you the next reply, just focus on that. And slowly it unfolds the magic. So like I mentioned, just acknowledge, ask people, share insight. Do not be direct. Do not be desperate to be booking a meeting through a demo, through a DM, right? So few conversation starters can be, curious how you're thinking about this. How are you handling whatever problem you're trying to solve? Just try to say that. These are the CISOs, CROs I'm speaking with. This is what we've helped them with. Does this resonate? So something like that can be a good starter of your conversation. It can drive some curiosity. It can turn your conversations into a dialogue and replies. And let's now talk about the common mistakes that we all tend to do. And I understand it comes from the sales pressure a lot of times. We're having a bad week, we're having a bad month, and we just end up pitching too early under that pressure. At times, oh, I have not been hearing, my messaging is not working. Let me just send out some link for them to know more about us. Over explaining, we do this and this and this. It confuses. All of this is very salesy. All of this is very confusing to someone who's receiving multiple such messages. Your competitors are also reaching out to those prospects. So just focus on being very relevant and adding value rather than pushing someone in a corner to just give you a meeting time slot. And then, of course, if you need to ask, you can politely ask if this is useful. I can give you a walkthrough of how we are solving this for other teams. So something like this, wherein you're not directly just I think people become very defensive the moment they read 30 minutes on your calendar this week or next. That should not come so early. It should be more value before you ask for someone's time. And I don't think so. One DM, one meeting is always the case. Maybe at times we get lucky. In sales, a lot of times we get lucky as well. At times we have to keep on nurturing a lead. And when you nurture a lead, which you're trying to ultimately and to get a demo, acknowledge a gap so that they can show some curiosity to you, so that it sounds helpful. So try to do these 3 things before you introduce a demo. And in case any of this helps, you guys can take a screenshot of this. This is the DM checklist that I advise everyone to follow. I follow it personally. And these are just 6 things that you have to keep in mind when you are drafting your demo or your DM for a demo. It's context, length, question, relevance, tone, no pressure clause. Do not make it sound very salesy. Stick to what you want to get as an outcome, but without sounding very salesy. So good DMs reflect good sales behavior. And a lot of us sound salesy. Also, at the same time, we sound very, our pressure shows in our messages, which is not a good sales behavior for a prospect to absorb. So try to stay calm. Your messages will also come out very good. And you will be focusing on many things rather than just getting a meeting slot. So as a good salesperson, try to solve for your prospect, understand your buyer's requirement, rather than just being focused on getting another meeting, closing one of your targets. And you guys can scan this. This is where I am on LinkedIn. Let's stay connected and learn more from each other. That's all again from my side, guys.
Perfect. Thanks for that, presentation, Pooja. Probably, guys, don't worry. He has already shared the PPT. I'll be sharing it in the group after the session. So if anybody has not taken the screenshot, no worries on that. Thank you so much. And guys, most important thing, you saw that, how there was a follow-up message in which Pooja had booked a meeting. So that's a common issue which even I see across, when people say LinkedIn DM ki ek message likh diya and we should get a reply. That's not how it works. Money is in the follow-up, as they say. So great thought process of putting across LinkedIn DM and getting replies. Pooja had made a lot of good notes. Hope a lot of people start implementing it from today or Monday. Thank you so much. And Pooja has been also selected for top 100 powerful ladies in India, recently acknowledged by IIM. So, lovely to have you as a friend, as a mentor, and as a guest today. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the next. And guys, last 30 minutes, we will keep, for questionnaires, where you can shoot your questions to all the 3 guests. Dhananjay, over to you.
Yeah.
I'll just spin you up.
Sure. Let me just share my screen. Are you able to see my screen? I think I'll just close this out. Yeah.
It's coming. Yeah, it's all yours. Let me just reset the time. Just give me a minute.
Sure.
Perfect. The floor is yours, Dhananjay.
So yeah, guys. So what I'm going to share is ideally my experience that I have come across like firsthand, where I've experimented and seen what works, what doesn't work. I've burned my hands also. I think one thing about LinkedIn is you can't just keep going and starting connections with, keep sending connections to people, because I think at one point of time LinkedIn says, hey, dude, please calm down. This is not what we're looking for, right? So I believe that is something that I have personally felt like. I think I started off on LinkedIn for about, I think at 2019, and that's where I came across LinkedIn. And initially it was like, okay, I had no direction and no guidance as to how you use LinkedIn. So my first week, I was like, hey, I need to build my connection. I'm just starting out of LinkedIn, send around 100 requests, and then boom, banned. Like I had like a 48 hours or like a 1 week ban or something like that, where I couldn't send more DMs or connections with anybody, right? So that was something that I learned. Now, coming to I think I'm just gonna go through, like I've made these slides in a way, okay, by the way, thanks to Gamma, I actually just took up this session like one day prior to it was announced. So I'm like, hey, okay, let's do this. So Gamma really helped me out there. So I'm excited about that. Now coming to the next one, yeah. So the first things first is ideally the way you send a connection is also the bare minimum that you need to do is uh, go check their profile out, right? Whoever is out there, just go check their profile out, because what's happening is right now everybody is trying to spray and pray. By that I mean to say is just reach out randomly, like hey, this, that, and all of that. But rather than that, why not? Okay, let's say today you're reaching out to 20 people. Why not profile them or probe them properly to see whether they are the right ICP or not? Or why not see if they are somebody who is active on LinkedIn or not? Because you don't want some dormant accounts. Like you do see a lot of people available on LinkedIn who have like crazy amount of followers, but still the accounts are dormant. So I believe create that first kind of impression or visibility where people are understanding, okay, hey, this is somebody who is out there who has come and viewed my profile. He has probably gone through my work, etc. And that's how I believe you need to start, right? And then try to comment on a couple of their posts, follow their newsletters, see to it that, like, let's say they are talking about something, going and saying, hey, congratulating them, and then starting the conversation. So that's where the DM happens. So let's say there's an achievement that you've come across, and you congratulate them on that. That is a good way of approaching, because over there you're trying to acknowledge their achievement rather than trying to say, hey, I'm trying to sell my product. So yeah. So once you create the visibility, let's say initially what's going to happen is, hey, check my product out, etc. They're immediately going to delete the request that you have out there. The next thing is, hey, let's connect. Now, again, I'm really somebody who is kind of generous. So whoever just sends me a request, I accept without even having an email or in message. But still, there are out there who just accept it in a way that, hey, okay, he has done the courtesy of sending me a request. I'll just accept it, but that's about it. And then you go reach out, hey, I'm from XYZ, from XYZ. They're like, hey, dude, I mean, my courtesy has been done. I don't think I'd like to proceed from here. One thing that has actually worked out for me is, we are at the place where everybody would like to share 2 cents of their knowledge. And that is where I think, hey, I am DJ from Sales Table. I've been speaking to a lot of sales leaders out there. I would like to have a small feedback on the product we are building. So when I reach out to them on this way, I'm not trying to bombard them with my product. I am saying I am already speaking to quite a lot of leaders out there, and you are one of the leader I'm reaching out to, where I would like to know what is your understanding or your perspective on the product that we are building. So that is one approach that has worked for me. I mean, the deck will be shared, so you can go through all of this. A little bit of Drakey hotline blink kind of thing, right? Like cold DMs first, hope for the best, but then you go comment and then slide into the DMs. It's more like, oh yeah, I'm hitting the right spot. That's how it looks like, right? Now, yes. So one other thing that I learned is there is no shortcut for growing your audience, growing your engagement, and creating your visibility, right? I mean, 2019 I started, and I am in 2026, and I am only at 5,000 right now. Yes, I have not aggressively gone out there. I've been only consistently posting over the past 1 year, which is why I have seen like a 2,000 plus followers. Again, I'm not saying 5,000 is a great number, but it's a start, right? So initially what happens is you're trying to build rapport, you're trying to build your connection. So you keep requesting, speaking, having conversations, going to events, etc. Post which what happens is people have started to reach out to me for ideally, and this will happen to you as well, right? As you try to build your profile out there and visibility out there, people will start reaching out to you where they'll be like, hey, I see you're doing something great. Why not continue this? I'd like to have a conversation. Hey, I'd like to exchange some notes. Why not have this conversation? Let's take it offline. So things like this will happen, but you really need to be patient and see, LinkedIn is your portfolio out there, your professional portfolio. Because I'll tell you, LinkedIn is between Instagram and Twitter. Twitter is too brutal out there. They're honest, there you have more critiques out there. But LinkedIn has been more of a positive approach where people have tried to grow with each other. That's something that I've seen. So when you look at the numbers, you see, you have like a connection acceptance rate. Once the connection increases, you go to the reply rate, your reply rate increases. And then out of those, you see, it's like a funnel, 25% accept, out of which 8% are the ones who are replying to you, out of which you're having 3% of proper conversation. So this is how it ideally grows, right? And guys, be patient. Trust the process is something I'd say, because it will happen for sure, right? Yeah. So for example, this is how I really have been getting my DMs recently, where they're saying, hi DJ, long time no see. It's great to see you on my LinkedIn timeline, regularly. Seems like you are hustling. So again, this is an acknowledgement and a proof or a feedback that you are getting that, okay, what you're working on is reciprocating and people are noticing you, right? This is one of it. The other person is saying that, again, this is a cold reach out, but still, the way they have approached me is saying that, hey, I've been following your progress and I truly value the impact you're creating. Now, this is something that I have noticed that people are trying to approach when they are trying to personalize or rationalize with what you're doing, because again, here they're talking about my achievement first, and then they're progressing with what they like to share, etc. Yeah, again, as I was mentioning, why LinkedIn rewards patience, right? People will not reply immediately. They'll take some time, but trust me, everybody has to come around, because eventually, because of what we are giving out there, people reach out to us in what we are trying to actually provide out there, contribute, right? Again, I have conversations where I reached out to somebody 1 year ago, and then, now that I am making the noise, they've come back to me and say, hey, yeah, I think I missed out this conversation. But hey, again, one most thing, like whenever somebody reaches out to you, please don't be like, hey, I reached out to you 1 year ago, you're responding now, and now that I'm big. No, not like that. Be kind, be generous, appreciate them responding to you because you reached out to them first. Maybe at that point of time, it wouldn't have been the right timing for them or the right product or the right necessity. But now is where that you have created the impact where they have seen that aspect happening, right? So always respond to DMs. It's always good to be nice, no harm in being nice, and people respect that always. Coming to the next slide. Yeah. So initially what has happened was, I'm sharing an example of somebody who had reached out recently, right? Like this is a third year BTech student who's coming across, giving me the whole aspect of it. Like my first thought as soon as I look at it is, hey, okay, this is somebody who has not done his homework. This is somebody who is just coming out and naturally being out there. Now, how I would actually flip the script, and this is how I have actually reached out to say, hey, great to connect with you. Love to see your achievements. Always inspiring to, and also happy to chat whenever to exchange notes and see how sales works in real estate. Now, my ICP is sales folks or sales leaders. So that is how I am having an opening out there. Let's say you're in any other industry, let's say pharma, let's say healthcare. You can talk about the opening saying that, hey, the recent compliances of pharma have been scrutinized quite a lot. What are your thoughts on that? Right now, if this is something where you're reaching out to the pharma, now let's say you're reaching out to somebody who is into the healthcare. Hey, with the growing, with the rising population and also or the rising health crisis happening, what is that one important health aspect that you like us to take care of? So these are the couple of openings that you can see that works out for you. Now here, as you see, there's one other aspect that I have used. I had a word with Sanjay. Sanjay was ideally their MD of that organization who I'm reached out to. Now, why this person Sanjay in the conversation is important is because I have already spoken to the boss. I understood what the conversation is. B, I'm reaching out to you because I'd like to understand as a manager or as a leader, what are your problems or what are your challenges that you're facing. So hence this builds the credibility, and as soon as it happens, like the conversation flows and I kind of have responses for that as well. That's how the conversation flow happens. So quickly, like going through the strategy aspect, target the right ICP, cultivate authentic engagement, leverage warm introductions. By that I mean to say, let's say you have somebody in your network who has a second connection or a third connection, right? Your best bet is first connection. The second best bet is your second connection. So reach out to your first connection saying, hey, we have a mutual connect with XYZ. Would you like to please help me with an introduction? Tell them that, hey, I'm not going to be pitchy or salesy. I'm just going to make sure that I have a purpose, and I'd like to make sure that agenda is also communicated, right? Then personalize your outreach. That is one of the major things. Most of them are out there. Then multi-thread within organization, meaning you can't have one person in an organization you reach out. Over the past 1.5 years, especially when I'm looking at enterprise sales, I've been reaching out to 5-6 people in one organization, because from those 5-6 people is where I get to that one champion / influencer who will help me close the deal or at least proceed the deal further. That is something that I have noticed has happened. I think, yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is done. Perfect. Yeah. So overall, this is how you'll have the impact, where you have like a 4x, meetings booking rate increase in that, like a 75% response rate, 50% faster deal cycle, 30% wasted time. Again, these are amazing numbers out there that have been put there. You can have like 2x, 1x, or 0.5 as well, but still 1% is also an increase in growth, right? So I believe that is how you need to go across. Well, yeah, that's my time, guys. It was amazing sharing this. Happy to connect with you. Let's see how we can go ahead together. And I mean, I think thanks to Sajid and also the team of Indo Sales, I believe this was a great opportunity to showcase what my learnings were. And I was a bit nervous, but I hope I pulled it off.
Perfect.
Amazing,
Thanks,
yes.
thanks for that, DJ. Two most important thing, which I would also like to add up to and stress upon is that, before sending cold DM, reach out to people on their comments, like, and engage with their content. Adds the credibility and trust before you DM them. And second thing, what rightly said, that multi-thread within the organization, because see, from an outside point of view, you don't know who will be a champion, or you don't know which person will be the decision maker.
Correct.
Yeah. So very great points. And that's the beauty of bringing multiple guests. Everyone, adds up a different value and different flavor to it, so that when you listen to 3-4 people together, you have that, Pandora box to play around with.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that, DJ. We will come back to you in the Q&A section. So the last guest, Azam, if you're there, I'll just pin you and then you can share your screen. Perfect. Over to you, sir.
Hi everyone. So great stuff. So Pooja talked about the mindset, which is a very, very critical thing, because I feel most of the messaging starts with a mindset. So I like that idea, and there were a couple of notes I made on that. Dhananjay, great stuff in terms of the detailing. How do you operationally execute it? Because ideas are not worth anything until you don't execute them. So what I've been thinking about is so all my life I've been working on communication design, and I enjoyed every bit of it. I still do it every day. And the most intriguing question, so whether you are 100 years in the messaging business or 10 years or 5 years, there's only one question that I've seen people ask, and that has made a real difference. And that question is, how do you create a real connect with a person? So I'll just open up a slide deck so it's easy for you guys. Yeah, let me do the slideshow. Yeah. So this is where it is. So the big question is, how do you create the right connect with the person so the person is able to reply to you? So whether you are selling any product or whether you're trying to have a conversation, connect is the most important thing. How do you start with the right connect with the person? So I like this idea, and this is a quote from Jeff Bezos that I picked up. That when people asked him, how do you innovate, how do you create solutions, and he says that start with customer at the center and then move your way backwards. So when I'm trying to send anyone a message, and I send a lot of cold messages, a lot of cold calls I do also myself. Uh, but before doing that, what I try to do is this: I try to get a sense of who is this person, and what is the job that this person is trying to get done. So this is the most critical thing for me. Before I send anyone a message, I do this homework in terms of understanding the person, understanding the business that they are in, and then looking at that intersection. Where is it that I could, make a difference? Where is it that I could move the needle? So when I try to look at a business, I try to look at what is the core offering of this business and what are the levers that are driving it. So let's say if you are in a business, so if you are in a CRM business, then and if your core offering is around CRM, then your CRM differentiates on what? Whether it's personalization, whether it is the inbox delivery, what is it about? So the core offering, how does it differentiate, and what really makes an impact to people when they use your product? So this is the first thing I would do. So if I need to send a message out to Pooja or Shehzad or anyone in the group, I would first look at understanding their business and what is it that their heart really cares about. Uh, and if you touch that nerve, that heart, you'll definitely get a reply. So this is something I've tried, and it has always worked so far. And my theory is based on this idea: how do you create the right connect with the customer? So if I'm trying to connect with something, I need to figure out what do they care about. So Pooja said it very interestingly. You need to look at the trigger, you need to look at the context, and then you need to look at how you can use curiosity to arouse it. Uh, so yeah, how do you create the right connect? There could be different ways to build a cat. You can think creatively around it yourself, but the core nugget of creating a conversation is how do you create the right connect. And this is what I follow: first, understanding the business, what is that main offering, and what levers drive it. So what would they, how do they deliver their sales, how do they deliver the experience, how do they make sure people generate more referrals. So understanding those levers in terms of the business, that's one. And the second is that person. So what is that person going to care about? I'm going to quote another line over here, which is from a book called Competing Against Luck. And I like that book is based on only one big idea. And that idea is, what is the job that this person is trying to get done? So when you understand the business, what business they are in, what levers are going to run that business. If it's a CRM, the business is around personalization or speed or delivery or connect or enrichment. What levers are driving it? Whether they reach out to people who are already using a couple of data enrichment tools, or whether they are trying to use AI note takers to build their stuff. You need to figure it out, and then in that space you need to see where you sit, that you can make a difference, and that's the place where you create the real connect with the customer. So this is my theory, and it has worked so far for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just so let me open this for you. So for example, let's say this website is about creativity. This website does video production. That's what they do. Yeah. And so once I know this, that they are into creativity and they're into creating messaging, I would ask myself, what is it that they would care about? That if I write one message, I'm going to be able to get a reply from them. Now, what I've also seen is this, that in today's LinkedIn world, there's a lot of noise. People send $50 for a meeting, $100 for a meeting, and your LinkedIn DM, they'll slip in. We'll give you $50, $100, come for a meet. And with those $50, $100, I did a little survey with my friends, and I found that even with a $100 gift slipped in, people are not willing to meet. So even if you pay $100, $50 gift cards, people still don't want to meet you. So therefore, LinkedIn is it's very noisy today. And that's where it's very important for you to be able to create the right connect. And at the same time, while you build the connect, you also do an authority building. So when you look at the business and you come with a perspective that you understand the business uh, from a perspective that you can add value, that is the time when you bring authority. So authority is one of the big ideas I use whenever I want to send a message out to anyone. So for example, this company that does creative messaging, I discovered that their business is around creating messaging and production and films for people. And therefore, this was the message that I sent the folk. I'm deploying AI for creative services, possible to do an AI first project. So just a 2-line message. Yeah. I'm a firm believer that the moment the message crosses 5 to 10, more than 5 lines, it will be very difficult to get a reply, for a simple reason that the human mind should be able to process it. And people usually read your DMs while they are on their phones moving. And if it is a long one, they will ignore it. So therefore, it has to be crisp, less than 5 lines kind of a thing, preferably 2-line, 3-line, 4-line, and it should be able to build authority. So my go-to tools for sending a message to anyone are, first, I start with how do I create the right connect with the customer. And then I look at, so when I talk about creating the right connect, I want to look at the place where I will sit that I can make a difference to the business, whether in terms of how they sell their product, whether in terms of how they deliver their product. So I need to look at that place where I can really fit in. So that is the first thing. And then with this foundation work, I go to the next level, which is how do I create authority? And that authority should display in 1 or 2 lines or 3 lines. So this message is a bad message, by the way. Yeah. So today I sent this message because, quite honestly, I was just faffing. I'll be very honest with you. Yeah. I have not started this creative services, but I want to do it. But I like this idea that if you want to be someone, then start acting like that person. So that's the idea. So like the way they say, fake it till you make it. So therefore I said, you start positioning yourself in a certain way, people will start looking at you in a certain way. So I just sent this guy that AI for creative services. Now, what is wrong with this message? I'll tell you. So first is what is right is in terms of I was able to do a diagnosis on their business in terms of what do they deliver and what is most crucial for their business, the presence of which. So if you add that, it will make hell of a difference to their business. So first I did that part. Second, I looked at what will bring authority in my work. And therefore, I said that this guy will be having a team of people. And right now, AI stories are great. Everyone thinks that you can, sit on the AI tool and crack everything in the world. So I leverage that. What is wrong and missing in this message is that there is no reason. There's no reason for this person to believe me. Yeah. So I would like this to sink in because this is very interesting. I could talk about anything in the world, but I need to add the proof that why should you believe me? In this message, I did get a reply, but this message was, I would say it's not great. It's great in certain places, but it is missing. It is missing the proof, the reason why I should meet you. Now, I will answer that also. Why this guy replied me? Because on my LinkedIn profile, the profile that I use, my personal profile, it in itself has got some authority. So for example, I would have 100 connects with this guy. I would be talking the same language. So therefore, there's a very high chance that though I didn't give a proof of the reason why you should believe me, he would have definitely. I can't hear you.
So sorry. Yeah, there was somebody who just unmuted. Please go. Please go.
Okay. So this is so whenever you send a message, I'll just summarize everything again so that it brings to the perspective. So the first, my go-to tool is how do you create connect and authority at the same time. So connect is the first thing I do it, and then how do you create connect? Start with the customer at the center, understand the business, and then look at what their business looks like, and basis their business, you are able to then send a message that is able to communicate what you could deliver. So far so good, and I'll move to the next part. Yeah, so this is another message that I sent a guy. This was based on a news recent that Google has come up with a universal commerce protocol, and this guy that I sent a message, I saw that he was in one of the PR meets around commerce protocol. So another thing I do is this: I focus on a certain niche. So, for example, let's say I'll give you a story. If you want to find some interesting jewels, you will need to find deep sea divers. So I believe in this idea that instead of you trying to address all the different profiles, segments, functions of people, target one segment of people so that you are able to build authority in that community. So therefore, I target people who are in the marketing and the branding space. Those are the people I target. So this message, I got a reply because this guy did a PR event around Google's commerce protocol, and basis this message, I leveraged that trend that was there. So that is the secret why this message worked. So I was able to bring authority from the place of what is he trying to do, and I chose words in a way that they create impact. So I chose Google's commerce protocol because this is the lingo that will work for this prospect. So therefore, whenever you send a message, you need to, after you diagnose the business, after you look at the place you will sit and make an impact, you need to use language, offering and language that builds authority. So that's the reason why this message is like 2-liner, 3-liner message. And unfortunately, I even didn't ask, how are you doing, my friend? So, which is bad. Okay. So I'll be very honest with you. Take some good things from my messages, and I'll also tell you what is bad. So you don't repeat the same, because every day we are all growing in our wisdom. So when I look back, this I did 21st of January, like recently. Okay. So what I feel I missed out was, again, I should have been a little courteous, saying, hi, how are you? Google's commerce protocol is a game changer. And then, added a little more believability for him to believe me more. Now, again, this guy believed me because my profile targets people like him. Second, I'm talking lingo, vocabulary, words that very few can talk. So if you can crack vocabulary that very few people can crack, or maybe people within that same tribe use, you will get connected. So this is the reason why this message worked. So 1-line, 2-line messages. How many lines I wrote? 3 lines. Yeah, nice. How many lines I wrote here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 3.5 lines. Yeah. This was a long one. So you can read it. So I wrote this lady that I work with e-commerce brands, getting performance marketing teams use Gen AI automations for product segmentation and ads. Now, the trick I used in this is that, Sujit, can you tell us about maybe after this, you can ask me questions. Yeah. So this message, the trick in this message is that I believe in the power of 3. That either you use, so you should segment your message in a way that first segment is like establishes connect and authority. Second message is around segment is around what you offer, and third message is ask. I always believe in the idea. It's a biblical. It's from the Bible, I think, that seek and you shall find, ask and you shall be given. So मुझे ठीक से नहीं पता, but in my vocabulary, this thing I picked up somewhere. So I believe in this idea of 3, that the first opening, your opening should be in a way that it creates connect and authority. मतलब ये मेरे go-to tools हैं. अब इसके around there are hundreds and different hundred psychologies you can use. So कोई भी messaging is a psychology. Yeah. So another mindset shift I'll add over here is the psychology. So what is the psychology you will use to create influence? Because $100 पे भी लोग मीटिंग नहीं दे रहे हैं आज की तारीख में. Yeah. So messaging has to be such that it creates, it works on the psychology, and the psychology could be based on creating influence with your vocabulary, uh, you know, uh, creating, authority. So different ways, even fear of missing out. You could even send a guy a message saying that, I have an invite for this event. Would you be interested to come? So the I have not added this in the slide, but while I'm thinking and talking, I'm just adding over here that another mindset shift you need to do in your messaging is that treat your messaging as the psychological attack, or psychological, you could say, psychological weapon you will use. So you can discount my vocabulary, but pick up the big ideas that I'm sharing over here, that your messaging has to be treated like a psychological weapon that you will use. And for your psychological weapon to work, you need to create the right connect, you need to create the right authority so that you end up influencing. And then following a system of three, create the connect first line, creates the connect first part, second part, what you offer, and third, ask and you shall be given. Yeah. So I work with e-commerce brands, getting performance marketing teams use Gen AI automations for product segmentation and ads. So I used vocabulary that connected with that audience of mine. Would you want to target e-commerce brands? We can also look at areas where you might need support on performance marketing or organic traffic. And then I asked, so that's the third thing I did. So yeah. So to summarize, maybe so I'll not write it over here, but yeah, guys can take notes. So treat your messages as psychology, the big one, the mindset shift. Second, look at how do you create connect by doing the homework, understanding the business levers, that person, and then using lingo that establishes authority, and then asking. This is the broad framework I follow. Okay, now everyone knows this. I don't even have to talk about it, but yeah, the challenge is how do you beat the noise? $50, $100 don't get meetings. How do you create trust, influence? All this is jargon. So now let's dissect live. Okay. This is a message template that I got from someone, and that someone is also a part of this group. Okay, she used to work with me in my earlier company, and that's how she trusts me to she wants to brainstorm. Okay, since she didn't give me permission to disclose her identity, I will not. But this is a message template that she sent, and the task she asked me was, please give me feedback. Yeah. So Shehzad, if you want people to do a little quizzing around, happy to do that. If you want me to just look at the message and give a feedback on this, happy to do that also. What do you propose? Open to ideas.
Yeah, so there are 70 people. I know people will in rush, in excitement of participation will unmute. That will create a problem. I would suggest you to start with the second approach.
I totally agree. Totally agree. This is a pro technique, Shehzad. After so many sessions, you know this. Okay. So the message one. I recently watched a TED talk, the insight about this replacing I love to connect. Okay. Now, what I feel is this, because everyone is talking about AI personalization, ChatGPT is churning out these. And therefore, this message is going to fail. So when I look at my 3 criteria, actually मैं इसको ऐसे audit करता हूँ थोड़ा सा. I will just use a text board also over here. Okay. So when I look at my criteria, 1, it needs to psychology. Okay. Psychology. Okay. और psychology को big मान करके दूसरा हम create what connect we create, and third authority. Okay. So इन चीजों को अगर मैं यूज करूं, is everyone able to see me? थोड़ा बड़ा कर देता हूं. Yeah, and I will fill in something over here also so that it stands out. Okay. Okay. So now let's go through these messages with these points. So I recently watched a TED talk and this insight about this resonated. I love to connect and learn more. Now, quite honestly, मुझे लगता है कि इस मैसेज में जो डाउन साइड है ना, वो ये है कि it doesn't communicate what you bring onto the table. So therefore, this messaging falters on authority. Yeah. So it falters on authority. And the second thing it falters on is the psychology. What psychology you want to, use? Do you want to use the psychology of creating influence? Do you want to create the psychology of, so fear of missing out, just maine bola, or do you want to create a psychology? So there are different techniques, hundreds of different psychologies. So for example, anchoring is another one. Yeah. So when you use anchoring and you're able to build authority. So this message has, I feel this message lacks building authority. That's the big one. I'll go to the second message because I've got few more. Thank you for accepting my connect request. I work for this and I've been keeping up with this. Okay, so let me mute this also. Okay. So sorry guys, you need to bear with me. This is because this is not cool. Okay. So yeah, so I've been keeping this up with this. I can see you. So when you look at this message, even this message fails on this, on this place of authority. So, so in terms of connect, this message does talk about some interesting lingo or language, AIQ 50, touch benchmark kind of things it uses, which is good. The lingo part creates the connect, but what this misses is the authority. And then, what is the psychology you would want to use? So for example, the psychology could be that if this person doesn't reply you, then they will miss out on something, or maybe there is something that you want to share. So I believe, so jo earlier messages I shared and those messages that I got replies from were based on the psychology of that, dude, I have something available right away for you and you can take it right away. So when I go to this message, yeah, I work with e-commerce brands. So I already told her, I have this available. You come and you'll get. So therefore, this thing worked. So when I look at this message uses the right lingo, but that authority element is missing. And the reason why, should I communicate further is missing. And the psychology, which is that, what do you have? So for example, I said that I have this and this can make a difference. So the psychology element. So this is what is missing in this. Now I'll go to this message and let me see this message. Yeah. I ask because LLMs uses LLMs to automate tasks, standard invoices, legacy workflows, miss. May I share a brief video snippet? Now this message is good. Yeah, this message is good because one, it talks about a certain problem that you solve, that it automates complex tasks, helps you achieve. So this message is nice and good. But what is missing in this message is, again, the reason why I should believe you. So, if you add a little proof, as in like, I did this experiment and this worked. So I sent a message to a founder of a company, and it was a genuine thing I did. I did some experiment on Perplexity, and I just sent that message, hey, I did this experiment, and that person immediately replied me. So this in this message also, this message is nice because it talks about the problem that you solve. It uses the right lingo. This is good side. What this message is missing is what will happen if I work with you. Yeah. So that kind of psychology is missing. So when I work with you, where do I go? What happens to me? So this is what is missing in this message. Yeah. Uh, so also I want to say that this is a sequence of messages. That message one, message two, message three, because this is what I feel that, when you follow up, you think that you need to send a message in continuity. I used to also think like the same way, that you need to send messages in continuity. What I discovered is, and I discovered this idea from, this interesting YouTube channel called Bandar Apna Dost. And I looked at why it was a viral success. And I discovered that every tiny little 15-second shot or a 2-minute, video of his, you can join anytime and you'll get value right away. So I'm a believer that when you do follow up, if you do these sequences, thinking the person saw message one, episode 2, episode 3, it might not work because that person would have not even gone through your earlier messages. So no point doing it. I feel it is better as a bet to treat every message as a complete story in itself. So every message you treat as a new story, as a new pitch, and you use the same thing that what is the psychology you will use. Okay, if I work with you, I'm going to get this. Okay, you already have this. You already there. So if you associate with me, you will get this. So that's the psychology. So what is the psychology you want to, push? And with that as a big head, look at how do you connect with the right words, with what they have done, maybe by caring about their business, what will move the needle for them, and then adding, authority. Why should they work with you? What will be? So these are 3 big ideas which I just created while, hearing Pooja and DJ and yeah. So this is where it is. And the last point is that the sequence should be not treated like a sequence, rather treat it as one episode where people can dive in and they can just get value out of it. So this is from me, and thank you everyone. Over to you guys. If you have any questions, happy to take it up.
Great, and hi everyone. I hope I'm audible. Shahzad is in mid of something, so he has got an emergency. So due to which I'll just take this forward from here. My name is Subhash, a brief intro. I work alongside with Shahzad. Great session, Nazam, Dhananjay, and Pooja. Had a lot of learning, different perspective. I've taken note. Can't wait to implement this and see the results. So as the next thing, what we'll do here is we'll go to the Q&A session part. I think so. Most of the people would be having a lot of questions they're waiting to ask. So what we'll do now here is, as this is the first time for me, I haven't prepared and I don't have an admin access. So help me out with, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. I'll call out your name. Then you can mention to whom you want to shoot the question. Please keep it direct so that they answer it and we can cover a lot of questions from other people, right? Great. So before that, one more thing. I know the hands have started raising. So what we'll do, I would humbly request all the people to switch on the cam so that I'll take a picture. I'll share it in the group. If anyone wants to post it in your LinkedIn, please feel free to post. So this would motivate other people to join the community. They can be a part of this learning, right? Azam, you have an option to unpin yourself so that I can cover all the people, because I don't have an admin access. If you have,
can you see me? Like my video, everything is on.
It is there because I think Shahzad has pinned you. You have an option to unpin yourself.
Okay.
If
okay,
so that we can cover all the people in a pic.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So how do I unpin myself, man? I need some help on this. Yeah. Okay, unpin. Got it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Still it is pinned. Is it still pinned or it is looking for me?
No, I have unpinned myself.
Okay. 1 second. I am not getting an option to cover all the people. Guys, if anyone is, it's pinned from admin, so still showing pinned. I think so. It's Shajat who has to remove this.
Subhash, what you can do is you can increase the view size of
I
the
have done that, but it is already told me.
Am I still pinned? Because it shows me I'm
Yeah.
not pinned.
Yeah, you're still pinned. May I suggest that we can proceed with the questions in the meantime? I'm not sure
Okay.
if Shraddha is going to be back in some
Fine,
time.
I'll check with Shajat on the same.
Yeah.
Fine. So what we'll do then we'll go with the Q&A session. So this will be for 15 minutes. I think so. Arnab has raised. I'll reiterate once again. Raise your hand. I'll call out your name. Then you can mention to whom you want to shoot the questions. Keep it direct so that we can cover all the questions. So this will be for next 15 minutes. It's over to you, Arnab.
Sure. Thanks, Subhash. So my question is for Azam. Really liked your presentation and the way you like explained, the certain things. So see, what I understood is that all this, my only concern here is that though I agree with everything Pooja and Dhananjay has also mentioned, everything makes sense. My only concern is that, see, I'm an SDR, right? And I have to make cold calls as well. So how do I manage time? Because if I am going to like write a LinkedIn DM just like that with creating value and things like this, I know for a fact if I'm doing this for a high value CXO, it will take 5 or 6 minutes for one guy, right? And also like if I'm targeting around like 10 accounts, well, 30-40 minutes, it's going like that, right? So how do I manage that? Is there any time slot that you guys like, for example, allocate?
So
And
Arnab, I can answer this question for you. So your question is that being an SDR, if you do one DM, it will take 5 to 10 minutes. Is that right? And you will have 10 to how many accounts you have in a day to do?
like more than 50, 60,